What's going on, guys? Sergi, Sean, Shannon, what's going on? You guys are in here really early. Okay. We got a big slate, a lot to go over, and I'm sure we're going to get plenty of news throughout this stream, so I'm going to kind of go game by game as quick as I can. I'm going to keep the news in front of me, so if we do get some late breaking news, I'll be sure to address it. But, you know, I'm ready for everything today. I'm locked in more than ever right now. Jalen Suggs was just ruled out. Gets a decent matchup again, or the Magic get a decent matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are the worst half-court defense in the entire NBA. So without Jalen Suggs, he leads that team in usage, believe it or not. A lot of that has to do with how many turnovers he has, but that just means he has the ball in his hands a lot. So without him, it's going to be a bump in usage and ball handling responsibilities for Cole Anthony. I think Terrence Ross and RJ Hampton are going to get a pretty considerable bump in minutes. We'll see who ends up grabbing the start here. I think it's likely RJ Hampton. I think bringing Terrence Ross off the bench makes a bit more sense. Actually, Gary Harris is entering the starting lineup. So we get the starting lineup of Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Mo Bamba. I really have no interest in the Magic, even with Jalen Suggs out. It doesn't really matter to me, but yeah, if you guys are in here, let's make sure to drop a like. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so would really appreciate it if you guys could help me out with that. But yeah, we got 11 games on the slate. We have a lot of news to go over, but I have a lot of strong takes today. I think it's a slate where you should really be going stars in scrubs, especially over on Draftkings. I think there are some pretty clear value plays that are sub 4K that are in spots where they should be playing 30 plus minutes today, given the injuries on their respective teams. But yeah, let's just get into it, guys. Oh my god, splash in my eye. Jared Allen was just ruled out. We already knew that he was a midday downgrade to doubtful. So with Jared Allen being out today, it's an obvious bump to Evan Mobley. With Jared Allen playing next to Evan Mobley plays more away from the basket, gets a pretty considerable bump in rebound percentage with Jared Allen off the court and when Evan Mobley's out there by himself. So a big bump to Evan Mobley. Chetty Osman could enter the starting lineup. We know that he has upside. Very good scorer. Okay, so we get the starting lineup. Oh, Rubio in the starting lineup now. Darius Garland, Ricky Rubio, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Mobley. So, yeah, I don't mind Rubio here at $6,000. The most abysmal thing about this game is, this is the first game, so we'll talk about this anyways, a 199 over under. Man, this gives me flashbacks of like Spurs games 10 years ago when I first started playing DFS, maybe a little sooner than that, but they had like over unders of like 185 and stuff like that. But 199, I mean, dude, I don't remember the last time I've seen an over-under that low. It's been a very, very long time. Scoring is obviously down pretty considerably this year. So not the best game environment, but luckily both these teams are pretty condensed with where that production is coming from. But we will start with the Boston Celtics side. Then I'll go over a bit with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, let me get my notes in front of my face right now. So we get a 199 over under in this game. The Boston Celtics are currently 3.5 point favorites. The Celtics are going to be without Jaylen Brown, Broderick Thomas, Josh Richardson, and Al Horford are both back today after missing their last game. Not really on Jason Tatum. My favorite play from this game, or from this team rather, is probably Dennis Schroeder at 6,500. Much more affordable over on FanDuel, where he's 5,700, where I'm getting a lot more of him at. More of a tournament option for me, given his his rise in price, but not really considering anybody else on this team now that they are healthier. On the Cleveland Cavaliers side, they are going to be without Colin Sexton, Larry Markkinen, Kevin Love, and now Jared Allen. So Evan Mobley is going to be the lone big out there. Should get a pretty considerable increase in rebounding opportunities. I like Evan Mobley quite a bit now. $7,200 is a pretty good price tag for him. We know that he is shown to be a good fantasy producer in his short career so far. Ricky Rubio entering the starting lineup, I think that just more so secures his minutes, because we've seen in the previous games without Colin Sexton that sometimes he would only play like 28 minutes, but now that he's starting in the starting lineup, I think you should add a couple more minutes to him. I wasn't really expecting him to start. I thought Chetty would end up starting. Small downgrade to Chetty Osman at 3,900. Dean Wade, more of a tournament option at 3,200 if you want a pivot off of the popular guys like Talon Horton Tucker, Aaron Holiday down there. Chetty Osman, a bit of a downgrade there at 3,900 with him coming off the bench. Ricky Rubio at $6,000. Him playing next to Darius Garland is going to take down his per minute production, but the additional minutes could end up buoying that. So don't mind Ricky Rubio there, but for the most part, I'm kind of avoiding that game with a 199 over under. Move on to the Sacramento Kings versus the Detroit Pistons at 212.5 over under. The Kings are currently 4.5 point favorites. The Kings have no injuries right now. Halliburton returned after his back injury last game, ended up playing 35 minutes, so he is in the full swing of things. Chimezie Metu ended up starting last game. If he's in the starting lineup again, he's an interesting tournament option, pivot off of the popular guys in this 3 to 4K range. But not really considering anybody from this Kings team. On the Detroit Pistons side, they are going to be without Kelly Olynyk, Chris Smith, Isaiah Stewart. Avoided foul trouble last game and played 32.5 minutes. So if he's going to avoid foul trouble, this is a pretty good matchup for him against Rashawn Holmes, an undersized center. Kind of matches his size. If he can avoid foul trouble, he can easily pay off this price tag. A much better play over on FanDuel. And then Cade Cunningham at $5,500. I still think that within a couple weeks or months at the latest, we're going to see Cade Cunningham in the 7K range, and we're going to be kicking ourselves if we're not getting exposure to him when he's $5,500 while we can, because this is a great matchup against the Sacramento Kings. The fact that the Pistons are at home makes me hopeful that this game should stay competitive. Currently only a 4.5 point spread, so this game should stay competitive. We've seen his shot attempts come down a little bit, but I'm really not looking into that all that much. I think that $5,500 is entirely too cheap for Cade Cunningham. Move over to the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Washington Wizards at 213.5 over under. The Wizards are currently 3-point favorites. The Pelicans are going to be without Zion Williamson and Dalton Holmes. Brandon Ingram returned last game, played 29.5 minutes. It was already said that he's going to continue to be on a minutes limit, but should see a couple additional minutes to what he played last game. So he played 29.5 minutes. If we see 32, 33, 34 minutes out of Brandon Ingram in this great matchup, pace-up spot against the Washington Wizards, $8,500, I'm probably staying away from him. But over on Prize Picks, his projection is currently at 31.5 fantasy points, and he should play about 31.5 minutes, and he is well over a fantasy point per minute player, especially in this matchup against the Washington Wizards. I love the over on Brandon Ingram right here at 31.5 fantasy points. Move over to and I also think that Jonas Valanciunas at 9,100, he gets the best front court matchup in the entire NBA against the Washington Wizards with Daniel Gafford and Montrezl Harrell. They are super undersized. He should be able to do literally whatever he wants. Obviously, it is a downgrade that Brandon Ingram is back, takes away some usage, but I think his minutes should still be there, and the matchup just literally could not get any better. So that's why he is still definitely in play at 9,100. Move over to the Washington Wizards. They are going to be without Bradley Beal, Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, Davis Bertans. Raul Neto served as the direct backup to Spencer Dinwiddie. It's clear that they only trust Spencer Dinwiddie and Raul Neto to run the offense. So while Neto was playing bigger minutes with Bradley Beal healthy, that was because they were able to play next to each other because they had 3 guys. Now that they only have 2 guys, he's only going to get the minutes that Spencer Dinwiddie's not out there. You should expect Spencer Dinwiddie to play low 30s minutes. He played 31 minutes last time, which means that Neto ended up playing 17 minutes. So that takes Neto out of play. But the biggest benefactor to Bradley Beal being out was Aaron Holiday. Holiday started in place of him, played 35 minutes. I think that continues in this game. Awesome matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans. Both these teams are just piss poor defensively. And at $3,500, I know he's not the best permanent producer, but he's going to shoot double-digit times. And he's going to be out there for a long time. He is only $3,500. Love Aaron Holiday today. One of the best value plays on the entire slate. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, obvious A-tier plays for me today. They run the entire offense, should run pretty big minutes. And yeah, again, a very, very good matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans. I still think that they are very affordable given that Bradley Beal is still ruled out. Move over to the Orlando Magic versus the Atlanta Hawks at 213.5 over under. The Hawks are currently 10.5 point favorites, so pretty wide spread right now. Michael Carter-Williams, Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Etuan Moore, and Jalen Suggs are all out. So Jalen Suggs was just recently ruled out. Gary Harris is starting in his place. Should be a bit of an uptick in minutes for Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, Terrence Ross, but really not considering anybody here. I know Gary Harris is priced down here at the bare minimum 3,000. I think some people are going to gravitate towards him, but we've seen him play 31 minutes not too long ago, scored 12.75 fantasy points. I think there are much better plays in the sub 4K range. Now, if there wasn't as many good value plays on the slate, he would become a little bit more interesting. Also worth mentioning is that Jalen Suggs actually leads that team in usage. So without him being out there on the court, yeah, a lot of that has to do with him turning the ball over so much, but that means that he has the ball in his hands a lot. So we're probably going to see Cole Anthony have a bit more of an uptick in usage, as well as assist percentage, more ball handling responsibility. So I think the biggest benefactor to Jalen Suggs being ruled out is actually Cole Anthony, more of a tournament option for me. Move over to the Atlanta Hawks. Onyeka Okongwu, DeAndre Hunter are both out. Bogdanovic is questionable. I could definitely see Bogdanovic end up sitting in this game. If he were to be ruled out, I think Cam Reddish becomes very much in play. But without DeAndre Hunter last game, Kevin Huerter started in his place, played 33 minutes. We saw him start the other day when Bogdanovic and Hunter were out, and he played 41 minutes, or he played 39 minutes. He was shooting very well. I don't think he would have played 39 minutes if he wasn't shooting very well, but he would have played mid-30s minutes, which at $3,800 I think is a very great play. If Bogdanovic is ruled out, then he becomes even more of a lock than he already is. And then, like I mentioned, Cam Reddish would become in play if Bogdanovic joins Hunter on the bench. Hunter is going to be out for the next couple of months, which is just absolutely brutal to see. We've seen him deal with many injuries to begin the year. Unfortunately, Price picks Clint Capella up to 33 fantasy points. We've been getting him at like 30, 31, and he keeps hitting the over. At 33, that's about right. But they will need his size against this matchup with Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, that jumbo front court. But yeah, really just focusing in on Kevin Huerter on the Atlanta side. Move over to the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks at 216 over under. The Knicks are currently 3.5 point favorites. TJ Warren, Isaiah Jackson are already ruled out. Chris Duarte actually, as I was talking, was just now ruled out as well. So we will see who ends up starting in his place. I think Justin Holiday receives a pretty big bump, but I expect him to continue to come off the bench. We already heard that they like bringing him off the bench. So Justin Holiday could see an uptick in minutes. Definitely interesting as a pivot to these popular guys like Kevin Huerter, but just don't really necessarily think that they get it done. My favorite play from this team is probably Karis LeVert at $6,700, but I'm really not considering anybody here. I think Keelan Martin and Torrey Craig also received a bump in minutes. Move over to the New York Knicks. Nerlens Noel is out. So Mitchell Robinson against this jumbo front court of Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner, should see his upper range of minutes without Noel. I'm expecting 28 to 30 minutes out of him. Needs to match the size of the Pacers. They can't get away really with playing Julius Randle at the 5 and Obi Toppin at the 4. So as long as he can avoid foul trouble, we're probably going to see around 30 minutes from Mitchell Robinson. I mean, at $4,000, he is one of the better plays on the slate, one of the better value plays Unfortunately, center is absolutely stacked up top with guys like Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Jokic, where I'm really trying to get to as my top spend-ups on the slate. So I'm getting to a bit less of Mitchell Robinson. And then again, guys, Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose. I mean, if you can guess correctly, every time these guys are on the slate, one of them is going to blow up their price tag because they split all 48 point guard minutes. And whoever has the hot hand is going to destroy their price tag and play around 30 minutes. We saw it last game with Kemba Walker. He played 31 minutes, scored 39 fantasy points. The game before that, Derrick Rose was playing better. He played 30 minutes, scored 47 fantasy points. And it's like that every time. I mean, Derrick Rose played 29 in this game, scored 28, played 30 in this game, scored 44, and you could just, it goes back and forth with Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose. Whoever's going to get the lion's share of minutes, your guess is as good as mine, but whoever ends up getting those majority of the minutes are going to end up destroying their price tags. Move over to the Denver Nuggets versus the Dallas Mavericks. 209.5 over under. The Mavericks are currently 4.5 point favorites. The Nuggets, they are going to be without Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Vlatko Cancar. And it looks like Will Barton is on the doubtful side, as well as Austin Rivers. So I'm expecting Will Barton to sit here. Nikola Jokic, he's my top spend-up option on the slate from a raw projected standpoint. From a point per dollar standpoint, I slightly prefer Anthony Davis. But you can definitely play both of them. There is enough value on this slate. Nikola Jokic without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Since the beginning of last year has a 35.5% usage rating, 20.7 total rebound percentage, 39.6 assist percentage, while averaging 1.81 fantasy points per minute. Only played 28 minutes yesterday due to blowout, didn't play into the fourth quarter. So even though it is the second leg of a back-to-back, he should be pretty well rested with him not getting his full complement of minutes yesterday. And with potentially no Will Barton here, I mean, his minutes should just be through the roof. The production should be through the roof. Everything is going to run entirely through him. They don't really have anybody to guard him. I mean, nobody's going to slow him down. And this is a good matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. So Nikola Jokic, my top spend-up option on the slate from a raw projection standpoint. If you can get to him, get to him. I think Monte Morris is in consideration as well. He should play 30-plus minutes in this game. He was on pace to do that yesterday before the game ended up blowing out. Bones Highland, maybe more of a tournament option. Got majority of his run in the blowout. This game should be competitive, only a 4.5 point spread. But with Will Barton potentially being out, as well as Austin Rivers, definitely in play as a tournament option, but really focusing in on Nikola Jokic over there. Monte Morris, a much better play over on FanDuel, where he is only 4,200. Move over to the Dallas Mavericks. Maxi Kleber is out. Jalen Brunson's minutes have been on the decline since Kristaps Porzingis' minutes are transcending as he gets healthier. He played 34 minutes last time, so Jalen Brunson's minutes took quite a hit. I like Kristaps Porzingis quite a bit at $7,000. I think I slightly prefer Evan Mobley now, but Porzingis definitely in play. His usage is up to 28.4% so far this year, which is up from last year. Definitely prefer him to Luka Doncic, but both those guys are somewhat in play, not really considering anybody else from the Dallas Mavericks. Move on to the Houston Rockets versus the Memphis Grizzlies. 220.5 over under. The Grizzlies are currently 11-point favorites. The Rockets are going to be without John Wall. Eric Gordon is questionable. I would assume that he sits in this game, the second leg of a back-to-back. So yeah, I really think Eric Gordon ends up sitting in here in this game, so it could open up some minutes. We could also see Daniel Tice sit in this game as well, with it being the second leg of back-to-back. We've seen him sit on these back-to-backs already this year. The Grizzlies have been probably the worst defense in the entire NBA so far this year. So I love Christian Wood over here on PrizePicks. I think this game should be somewhat competitive. It is an 11-point spread, but I lean with the Rockets covering here. And okay, we just got the starting lineup from the Celtics, normal as always. So I like the over on Christian Wood, 35 fantasy points over here on PrizePicks. I think that projection is entirely too low. If you want to get some action on Christian Wood, but you don't think that the game stays competitive, just come over here to NBA first half. This is what I do whenever I think that the game could end up blowing out, but I like one of the players. I'll just take the first half on them. So you can take the first half. Christian Wood, 17.5 fantasy points. I like the overs there. I think it's a really good matchup for Kevin Porter Jr. as well. On the Memphis Grizzlies side, they are going to be without Killian Tilly. And then Dillon Brooks has returned and played in 2 games. He has a 30.8% usage rating through the first 2 games, has shot 17 and 18 times. If you guys watched my video earlier, I took the over on his 17.5 real points over on PrizePicks. Don't like Dillon Brooks at this price point. Great matchup, gonna shoot a lot. And then with him returning and having such a big usage rating, it kind of takes away from guys like John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., definitely DeAnthony Melton. Melton has only played 17 and 19 minutes in each of the last 2 games that Dillon Brooks has returned, so he is definitely out of play, not really considering anybody on this Memphis Grizzlies team. Move over to the Miami Heat versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. 210.5 over under. The Heat are currently 9.5 point favorites. The Miami Heat are going to be without Victor Oladipo, Markieff Morris, and Jimmy Butler is questionable, but I definitely lean. I skipped this game. Okay, we'll go back. We'll keep with the Miami Heat side, but I really do think that Jimmy Butler ends up missing this game. Regardless, I think Bam Adebayo is in the best spot on the entire slate. We have seen this Oklahoma City Thunder front court get absolutely torched by teams. We've seen Drew Eubanks not too long ago just destroy them in limited time. And if Jimmy Butler is ruled out, I mean, Bam Adebayo, if I knew right now Jimmy Butler was ruled out, I would just be locking in Bam Adebayo. I think if Jimmy Butler plays, I think Bam Adebayo is still one of the best plays on the entire slate. This game only locks an hour after lock, so I'm sure we're going to get that news probably like 2 minutes after lock. I love Bam Adebayo regardless of Jimmy Butler playing or not, but I do lean that Jimmy Butler sits here against a weak Oklahoma City team, and I knew that Jeremiah Robinson Earl was going to get the start here, which is very good for Bam because he is horrendous defensively. But now Derek Favors is out on the second leg of a back-to-back due to rest, so he's going to be up against Isaiah Roby, Pokusevski, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. I mean, the matchup literally could not get any better for Bam Adebayo here. I love him today. And then if he is, Jimmy Butler is ruled out, it definitely an uptick in production, and my interest in guys like Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson is set to play massive minutes if Jimmy Butler is ruled out. So definitely going to have to wait and see on the status of Jimmy Butler here. But again, I love Bam Adebayo today. Move over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you are playing some of these Heat guys, you could bring it back with some of the Thunder guys. I don't think you need to. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 8,600, more of a tournament option. Josh Giddey, a little bit too pricey for me. He has been driving to the rack recently, so that definitely promising for Josh Giddey. His potential assists are also on the rise. But 6,400 is a bit too pricey for me. Darius Bazley is questionable here. Don't mind him if he plays. Definitely prefer Lou Dort here, but I'm really not considering anybody from the Thunder side, to be honest. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, I suppose, at 3,600 with no Derek Favors. We could see his upper range of minutes here, maybe 28, 29 minutes. We saw him play 29 minutes not too long ago against the Sacramento Kings. This is a pretty similar spot, in my opinion. 3,600, more of a pivot off the popular value plays that are sub 4K. Move over to the Toronto Raptors versus the Portland Trailblazers at 212.5 over under. The Trailblazers are currently 1.5 point favorites. The Raptors are going to be, I still got to go back to the Phoenix side. The Raptors are going to be without Yuta Watanabe, Fred VanVleet, Chris Boucher, and Precious Achiuwa. Okay, so they're going to be without Yuta Watanabe, Fred VanVleet, Chris Boucher, and Precious Achiuwa are all questionable. Pascal Siakam played 34.5 minutes last game. I actually wrote 24.5 in my notes, but he played 34.5 minutes. And I think there's a good chance that Fred VanVleet ends up missing this game. And actually, Chris Boucher is out in this game. So they are running somewhat thin in the front court. If Fred VanVleet does miss this game, I think Pascal Siakam is one of the better tournament options on the slate. This Portland Trailblazers defense has been very, very poor this year. They brought in Chauncey Billups to really help bring up their defensive game, but nothing has literally happened with that. So I think Siakam, last time out when Fred VanVleet was out, he was the guy that was really running the offense out there. And he's clearly off this minutes limit, played 34.5 minutes. So Pascal Siakam would be very, very interesting if Fred VanVleet is ruled out. Unfortunately, this game starts 3 hours after lock, so not sure we are going to get news on that. And then Gary Trent Jr., I mean, he has been the beacon of safety to begin the year. He's going to play mid to high 30s minutes, especially if Fred VanVleet is out again. He's shooting a ton. He's like second in the league in steals per game. We had taken him quite a bit over on FanDuel, because he just keeps getting these steals every game, and with you getting 3 full fantasy points for it over on PrizePicks and FanDuel, really buoys his floor. But really focusing in on Siakam if Fred VanVleet is out. If VanVleet is in, not really considering anybody. Their minutes are very condensed, but the production's really spread out with 5 of those guys being out there constantly. Move over to the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is questionable, so I'm expecting him to play. He's dealing with an abdominal injury that he sustained during the Olympics. Before he missed yesterday, which was the first end of the back-to-back, he was shooting much better recently, much better than he was to begin the year. He's only $9,200, so we have seen his price come down a bit. This is a pretty solid matchup against the Raptors. I don't mind Damian Lillard here. I think there's better spin-up options, like I talked about previously. But yeah, not really considering anybody here. If he is ruled out, you might want to leave some flexibility so you can get to a guy like Anthony Simmons, because Anthony Simmons would be probably my second favorite, maybe my favorite point per dollar play on the slate if Damian Lillard is ruled out. We'll talk about my favorite point per dollar play in the next game. But Anthony Simmons at 3,500, if Lillard is ruled out, I mean, he would just be a slam dunk play, and you would get him at very, very low ownership just because the news will likely come out way after lock, and not many people are going to have the flexibility to swap over to him. And we'll go back to the Phoenix and Minnesota game because I skipped over that. So yeah, Phoenix versus Minnesota, 221.5 over under. The Suns are currently 3.5 point favorites. The Suns are going to be without Dario Saric, and then DeAndre Ayton was moved from doubtful to questionable, so a midday upgrade. So I think there is a pretty decent chance that he ends up playing in this game. Now, I'm not really interested in him himself coming back from injury because I don't think he would get his full complement of minutes. But that would take Frank Kaminsky and then JaVale McGee out of play. We've seen JaVale McGee play the majority of the minutes last time out. Absolutely destroyed this Houston Rockets team. If DeAndre Ayton is ruled out, I think that JaVale McGee is a very good play at 4,200. I prefer him to Mitchell Robinson, but of course we're going to have to wait on that news on DeAndre Ayton. I think he's more likely heading to a game time decision. Not really considering anybody else on that team. Then the Minnesota Timberwolves, they have no injuries. Patrick Beverley was on track to play. Oh, they do have an injury. Naz Reid is questionable, and we just got word on that. He's heading to a game time decision. If he is ruled out, I think we see more minutes out of Karl Anthony Towns. I think Towns is an interesting tournament pivot off of the popular, or in my opinion, the best center plays on the slate with Nikola Jokic, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis. So need to wait on news on Naz Reid because he would receive a pretty big uptick there. And then I think D'Angelo Russell at 7,100. I think he is a bit too cheap. And then Patrick Beverley, like I was talking about earlier, he was on pace to play 30 plus minutes yet again in the starting lineup next to D'Angelo Russell. I think he's more of a secondary option there. Bit of a tougher matchup. I think he is a fine play at 4,100. Move over to the Chicago Bulls versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The last game of the slate at 218.5 over under. The Lakers are currently 1 point favorites. The Bulls are going to be without Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams. Kobe White is going to make his debut this year, coming back from injury and then the G League, but now he is back. I'm expecting him to come off the bench. I think it more so, I talked about it earlier, I think it more so hurts the bench guys like Javonte Green and Alize Johnson and Derrick Jones Jr., more so than the starters. I think Alex Caruso, his minutes are still fine, even with Kobe White back. I think that in this matchup specifically, I think that they close with Alex Caruso again. He played 39 minutes last time out. I think that we could see big minutes out of him again. He got the starting lineup for the first time last game over Javonte Green. He is one of the better plays at $4,000. So one of the strategies that I am going with right now is that I have a lot of Alex Caruso in my lineups right now. And with that being the last game of the slate, if Damian Lillard is ruled out, I am going to pivot from Alex Caruso to Anthony Simmons. So I'm going to leave that flexibility for myself. DeAndre Ayton is officially active. So we just talked about that. He was a midday upgrade, so it looked like he was going to play. So that takes JaVale McGee out of play. Not playing JaVale McGee. with DeAndre Ayton back, obviously. And then I'm not really interested in Ayton coming back from injury. I don't think he gets his full complement of minutes. But yeah, this Chicago Bulls team gets a great matchup against the Lakers. This Lakers defense has been horrendous to begin the year. Yeah, so I think Alex Caruso, one of the best value plays on the slate. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, I think, are two A-tier plays on this slate. I do slightly prefer Zach LaVine to DeMar DeRozan, but I think both of them are in great situations here. I think that they should play big minutes. Kobe White being back does not really affect anything for me. And I think Lonzo Ball more of a tournament option. Move over to the Los Angeles Lakers. They are going to be without LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Kendrick Nunn, and Trevor Ariza. Talen Horton-Tucker returned last game. Played 27 minutes, was in the starting lineup, and he is the bare minimum, has guard and forward eligibility. He's going to be very highly owned today, but for good reason. There are plenty of pivots to get off of him, but man, it is just really hard for me to get off of him because they really don't have very many. Bogdan Bogdanovic is listed available to play, so Cam Reddish not really in play for me. I think Kevin Huerter is the same exact play. I think Kevin Huerter is still very well in play today. One of my favorite value plays. But yeah, Talen Horton-Tucker at $3,000, just entirely too cheap. I don't know how he's still sitting here at the bare minimum. Jimmy Butler listed out. Okay, so lock in Bam Adebayo, in my opinion. Big upgrade to Tyler Hero. Big upgrade to Kyle Lowry. Duncan Robinson is now in play. PJ Tucker is going to play big minutes off the bench. So, yeah, Jimmy Butler, I wish that news would have came out a bit later. And actually, I'm going to go take this right now if you guys want to tail me. Bam Adebayo now listed questionable Monday. Okay, so now this could get really interesting. I was just about to place a Bam Adebayo bet, but I'm going to wait and hold off on that. A strategy you could deploy with the Bam Adebayo situation is if Bam Adebayo is in fact ruled out, you could just pivot down directly to guys like Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry, or you could directly pivot over to Zach LaVine, who I think is in a very good spot in his own right. And then my favorite point per dollar spend up option on the entire slate is Anthony Davis at $10,400. And actually, one second, what is it? Okay, so Bam Adebayo is listed questionable. I know this is like a midday downgrade, but we have seen this so many times from Bam Adebayo. He has been dealing with his bruised knee, and he has been questionable pretty much every game with it. It is a bit concerning that it was a midday downgrade, and the fact that they're playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder is that leads me to believe that there is a decent chance that he misses that game. But I'm still going to be playing Bam Adebayo as of right now. I'll make the pivots if I need to later, and I'll let you guys know in the Patreon what to do if that is the case. And then we just get news that Chimezie Metu is in the starting lineup. More of a tournament option. Eric Gordon is also ruled out. We also thought that was going to happen. So yeah, that opened up some minutes because Eric Gordon was actually playing some pretty considerable minutes to begin the year. Let's look at these Miami Heat guys and see if we can get some any value here before they take them off the board. Darius Bazley, a game time decision. No Tyler Hero here. Also, if Bam Adebayo ends up missing this game as well as Jimmy Butler, we could definitely see this game playing a lot closer. So, man, I think that there is some value in playing I wish they had Tyler Hero on here. Just playing the over on Kyle Lowry, because I think Lowry is in a great spot without Jimmy Butler, even if Bam Adebayo plays. But if Bam Adebayo misses as well, this game definitely should stay close. And, I mean, all the entire offense will run through Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry. I think that they would largely stagger their minutes as well. But I think just point blank, they would play like 38, 40 minutes in this game if Bam Adebayo is ruled out. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl will remain in the starting lineup today. That's also what we thought. No Derek Favors. I think that he plays his upper range of minutes. So yeah, this slate is getting very, very interesting. And this is coming right before lock. So a lot of people are going to be scrambling. But yeah, did I mention Anthony Davis? Yeah, Anthony Davis, my favorite point per dollar stud on the slate. Bam Adebayo ruled out. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit these right now. Holy shit. So yeah, this definitely just made a ton of changes right here. Let's take the over on Kyle Lowry right here. And I'm going to take the over on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey as well, because we're going to think that this game stays competitive. Let me see real quick if Tyler Hero has a points prop, because I am pretty upset that they just do not have him on here. Ooh, I do like the Duncan Robinson over 12.5 here. He's going to have to play big minutes. Man, they don't have any fantasy production. That's tough, man. No Duncan on here. Ugh, that's ugly. Okay, so if you guys want to tail me, I mean, this could win. This is a 10x play right here. I'm going to take the over on Kyle Lowry, 32.5 fantasy points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 36. Josh Giddey over 25. And Duncan Robinson over 12.5 real points. Plus 100, we can win $1,000 off this 100. If you guys want to tail me, use code Taylor, TAYLOR, when signing up and depositing for a 100% match bonus up to $100 if you guys want to tail me in this play. So things definitely just changed a ton. Was not expecting Bam Adebayo to be ruled out, so I'm going to have to make some changes to the FanDuel. I'm going to make some changes to the DraftKings sheet as well. Yeah, this Miami situation just became like the chalkiest side. Yeah, no Butler, no Adebayo. I mean, Dedmon becomes like such a good play now. He is $3,200. He's going to play big minutes here. I can also see this game going small with some PJ Tucker because Markieff Morris is already out as well. So we can see a ton of PJ Tucker. He is only $3,800. He becomes an A tier play for me. But yeah, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry going to have to play a ton in this game. And it just makes Oklahoma City Thunder much more viable today because this game should stay competitive. Let's see what the lines have moved to actually. So we'll look at it before this injury news. So they were 9-point favorites, but now let's look at it, see if it's updated now with the news that Jimmy Butler and them are out. Hasn't changed just yet, but yeah, it's definitely pretty crazy now that Bam Adebayo is ruled out. If you guys are in here, make sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am here every single day dropping my videos as well as my live streams a full hour before lock. Trying to break down as much news as I possibly can. I am a one-man show, so trying to get to everything I possibly can for you guys, but appreciate you guys being here nonetheless. But if you guys do subscribe, you guys will be notified whenever I drop my video, my live streams, and is the #1 way of supporting me. But we are going to have to edit the DraftKings and FanDuel stuff real quick. But yeah, I mean, this should be a pretty exciting slate now. The under on Bam. Yeah, I wish that's how it worked. Nah, if he doesn't touch the court, he just picks up a DNP, then they end up voiding your bet. If it's just Bam and somebody else. But yeah, I mean, this Miami situation just got a whole lot different. Gonna want to have some exposure to Lowry, to some Hero. Duncan Robinson gets a pretty big boost. I mean, Duncan Robinson could literally play 40 minutes in this game, assuming that it stays competitive. If you ever need a tech assistant, let me know. I could definitely use some help. I mean, as we continue to scale up, I'm sure I'm going to eventually need some people like that. So I'll keep you in mind, Jeff, because you know, you've been supporting me a ton, so that would be nice. Are we playing Dedmon? I mean, Dedmon is definitely in play now. Hero lock on FanDuel. Yeah, Hero's only $6,900 over on FanDuel. That seems entirely too cheap for him. Was really hoping that he would be there on Prize Picks, but that just was not the case. Will Barton, a game time decision Monday. He was doubtful, so I feel like that's a bit of an upgrade, to be honest. Okay, I got to lock in so we can get this upgrade going, or this update going on FanDuel specifically. Tucker season, yep. Money Mobley, Monday. Yeah, I like Mobley quite a bit with no Jared Allen. I think his rebounding numbers should come up pretty significantly. Miami off the board on Prize Picks. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, if you really want to take advantage of that news, you gotta have alerts on your phone, and you have to have the Prize Picks board just like burned into your brain. So when you get the injury news, you're like, oh, who benefits from this? I need to go slam that in, because that's how we've made most of our money this year on Prize Picks so far, is just like hopping in on the trend, on the projections as soon as the injury news comes out and before they take them off the board and readjust the pricing. Okay, so it looks like Daniel Tice is going to play today. I thought there was some chance that he would end up resting here on the second leg of a back-to-back. Maybe they scale back his minutes a bit more. Sengun plays a bit more, but nonetheless, I think Christian Wood is a great play over there. Wood or Mobley. It's a bit of a tough one for me. I probably lean Mobley. Can you play Tucker and Robinson in same lineup? Yep, I think that is completely fine. All right, let's update the sheet real quick, and then the FanDuel lineup. We will get this in time. Trust me, trust me, trust me. But if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in here. Again, guys, I have like a month and a half left to get to 100 subscribers. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Alex Caruso, a must start. I think Alex Caruso is one of the best value plays on the entire slate. But, you know, with this news coming out, I mean, I got to run my lineups and see how much I actually end up on him, because things definitely just got way, way different with this recent news. But with Bam Adebayo being ruled out, yeah, that definitely changes some things up. I still think that Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic are pretty much like must plays for me. Gonna have to switch some things around to get Tyler Hero in my lineups, because he gets a pretty considerable upgrade. Unfortunate that on FanDuel, Dedmon is center only. Any news on Butler? Yeah, Jimmy Butler is ruled out, and so is Bam Adebayo. So the whole landscape of the Miami Heat has completely changed. Here on the train to the top, sir. I appreciate that, Jeff. I mean, you've been showing love every day, so I really do appreciate that. Schroeder and THT are Rubio and Gary Harris. Definitely Schroeder and THT. Gabriel, thank you so much for the sub. Giddy or Garland. FanDuel, definitely Garland for me. Brogdon or Hero. Man, that's close. I mean, point your dollar, definitely Hero, but from a raw projection standpoint, I mean, I probably still lean Hero. I mean, this is such a good matchup for him. Such a good matchup, and now there's no Bam, no Jimmy, and we have seen his role just like skyrocket this year. So I mean, Hero might shoot like 25 times in this game. Caruso over Herter, given their matchups right. Like, my only concern is that like Kobe White could eat into his minutes. But even then, I think I slightly prefer Herter. Like, it's really close, though. Anthony Simons. Yeah, I mean, if Damian Lillard is ruled out, yeah, I'm going to play Anthony Simons. So, also, with the Caruso thing, if you're playing Caruso, you will have the option to swap to Anthony Simons if Damian Lillard is ruled out, which that is kind of what I'm doing and depending on. Okay, I'm getting a Patreon update right now on Draftkings. Lowry or Hero. Probably going to be Hero for me. Dinwiddie, a must play. Not a must play, but a very good play. Very good play. Mobley and Porzingis are 80 and Chetty. Damn. I wish Chetty was starting, because it would be that. I probably still lean the 80 side there, though. Dinwiddie, Holiday, Luka, Me Too, Jokic, Herter, THT, Rubio, DK, GPP. I like that. Herter or Holiday? Herter for me. Lowry, Dinwiddie, Hero, Schroeder, Kuz, THT, Davis, Mobley, Dedmon. Thoughts? Love it. Do you have a preferred A tier plays on DK? Yeah, let me look at my sheet. Yeah, so I mean, I'm making additions to the sheet right now on Patreon, but it's gonna be like Hero, Lowry, like those are my preferences right now, as well as Spencer Dinwiddie and Kuzma. Holy shit. Dinwiddie or Lowry? Probably Lowry for me now. Is Mobley a lock? Not a lock, but a very good play. Me Too and Cash. No, Me Too's not really a cash game play for me, because I think he probably played like his upper range of minutes last time and only played 24. They still have to give minutes to guys like Buddy Hield and Davion Mitchell off the bench, so not really. A Bay playable? No, not really for me. Thoughts on Bones? Tournament only option for me. I'm not really getting to all that much of them. Okay, I gotta put my mic to the side. I gotta make these updates like really quickly, so bear with me for a little bit while I make some of these updates. Who is Dort gonna guard? Does that worry you? Nah, not really. I never really bothers me all that much individual matchups like that. I think there's just a lot of moving pieces, and like the usage is going to be so great between Lowry and Hero that it doesn't really matter all that much. On FanDuel, is it viable to fade Jokic for Deadman in cash games, or should I stick to that in GPPs? Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the cash route. People are going to just flock to Deadman. Probably still prefer Jokic there. The cash play is probably definitely playing Deadman there, though. Lowry or Dinwiddie? Probably Lowry for me. Definitely close, though. Like, very close. Okay. Okay, I gotta go mute for a little bit, so bear with me, please. Notes in front of me. Okay. I think we have this done now. Oh, let me check this real quick. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, our lineups are going to be really hot now. I like this quite a bit. Oh, I think I have the Draftkings lineup right now. This is extremely nice. Okay. Alright, apologies guys. I kind of have to do this for Patreon members. Try to talk to you guys as much as I can through this, but I gotta focus because this is crunch time. Again, I am just a one-man show, so when it really comes down to it, I really need to be focusing on my members here. You guys want to know exactly what I'm playing on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Prize Picks every single day. Make sure to join my Patreon. That is linked down below. But I'm feeling it good. I'm feeling good tonight. We have 5 locks today. 5 core plays for the Patreon members over on Draftkings. FanDuel lineup is about to be uploaded. This is looking really nice. Okay, the new Draftkings cheat sheet has been uploaded. The new core plays are there as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, if you guys are a member, that is all live. Really focusing in on the Miami Heat now with no Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo obviously gets a great matchup against Oklahoma City Thunder. That game should stay way more competitive now. The DraftKings sheet is updated everywhere. And then I need to update the FanDuel lineup right now, but that should take no time at all. Really unfortunate that Deadman is over here in this situation. And we got the FanDuel lineup as well, which is just looking equally as good as DraftKings right now. So funny how everything just falls together. That's nice. Okay. And then we will have a couple of minutes to go over some last second questions. I appreciate you guys sticking around here. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button. I'm here every single day. Trying to give you guys as much information as I can for free.
Advertising is based on one thing: happiness. And you know what happiness is? Happiness is the smell of a new car. It's freedom from fear. It's a billboard on the side of the road that screams with reassurance that whatever you're doing.
How much time we got left? 8 minutes left. Okay, we got plenty of time. We are all good.
We're okay.
Crazy how this FanDuel lineup fits. Wild, wild, wild. Okay. Okay. Let's actually see if we got some movement in this game. Moved down to 7-point favorites for the Miami Heat. The total has dropped from 210.5 to 206.5. Okay. Capella or Poor God. Gonna be Poor God for me. AD or Jokic. If I have the money, I'm gonna go up to Jokic, but point per dollar wise, I do prefer Anthony Davis. But again, guys, if you guys are Patreon members and you're looking at the sheet, I think it's very viable to get the core plays with Kyle Lowry. Very, 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 very possible to do that. So, Duncan, Mobley, and AD, or me too, Kuzma, and Jokic. Going to be the Duncan side for me. Playing Cole Anthony, Dinwiddie, Hero, Lowry, and guard spots, taking up all my flexibility. But thoughts? I think that's fine. I like all those plays. I think Cole Anthony, he didn't make the sheet, but I do think that he is interesting in tournaments. Because without Jalen Suggs, who leads that team in usage, a lot of that's going to go to because with Gary Harris is not going to take up as much usage as Jalen Suggs does. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big uptick in Cole Anthony. I like that route. AD or Joker? Yeah, Joker if you have the money. AD point per dollar wise. But I'm playing both, so I'm there with that. Chetty and Herter about the same play. Don't know which way to lean. I definitely prefer Herter now. I'm not sure how much Chetty plays off of the bench here. They have been running a tight 8 or 9 man rotation recently, but you know there's a 199 over under in that Cleveland game, so I definitely prefer Herter to Chetty. Chetty does have upside though. Schroeder, Herter, Robinson, AD, Dedmon, Hero, Tucker, Jokic, love it. Kuzma or Schroeder. Kuzma for me. Going Hero, Levine, THT, AD, Siakam, Highland, Mobley, Taj Gibson, Heat check. Playing Taj Gibson, man. Man. I don't know if I can get behind Taj here, but I can get behind everybody else on that lineup, honestly. Because I think while Siakam and Highland didn't make my sheet, I do think that they are viable tournament options. Again, this is an 11-game slate, so I can't put a million people on the sheet because, you know, that helps nobody. So I'm going to have to condense my plays, but I do think that they are viable plays today. Kuzma or Turner, definitely Kyle Kuzma. Same starting lineup from the New York Knicks as expected. Lowry, Hero, Levine, THT, DeRozan, Tucker, AD, either Holiday or Dedmon for GPP. Aaron Holiday or Dedmon. Wow, that's close. I probably prefer Dedmon now. Bit better of a permanent producer. Still think that he plays decent minutes here. Great matchup for him. Yeah, but I like that lineup a ton. Top 3 value plays. Talon, Horton Tucker, Dwayne Dedmon, and probably Aaron Holiday. PJ or Dedmon, going to be Dedmon for me. 3,800 left. Utility, do I take Tucker at 38 or Dedmon still at 32? I'm going to take Dedmon there. Dedmon is very much so in play. How is Schroeder, Caruso, Dinwiddie, THT, Duncan, DeRozan, Davis, Kuzma, and Mobley on FanDuel? I like that a lot. Tough today. Can easily go stars and scrubs or get a bunch of really nice mid-range 7K plays. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm getting on DraftKings, I ended up getting, you know, Jokic with Anthony Davis and then 2 mid-range guys with very good value that I feel comfortable with. So I think that's probably going to be the more popular route, but for a good reason. Mobley or Kuzma, Mobley for me. Little or Herter for me. Herter or Aaron Holiday. If you have the money to get up to Herter, I would get up to Herter, but point per dollar wise, I slightly prefer Aaron Holiday. Mobley or Kuzma, Mobley. Dinwiddie, Kyle, Hero, Holiday / Simmons. Herter for THT, PJ, AD, Joker. Yep, I like that. Yeah, if you get, I guess you can't really do that. I mean, you have to play Aaron Holiday now, or hopefully play Anthony Simmons if Damian Lillard sits. But I do think that Lillard probably ends up starting. Duncan or Mitchell Robinson, higher ceiling. Gonna go with Duncan Robinson there. I think that he could play nearly 40 minutes in this game. We look at the recent games with no Jimmy Butler. So he played 45 minutes. This game went into overtime, but he played 40 minutes in regulation after Jimmy Butler only played the first quarter. This game, where he played 27 minutes, he was in foul trouble, and then this game he played 34 minutes. And I believe he was in a little bit of foul trouble here too, so he could play massive minutes here. Love the over on Duncan Robinson over on Prize Picks. We kind of went over that a bit earlier. Hero, Caruso, Robinson, Davis, Dedmon, Dinwiddie, Mobley, Kuzma, like it. Dinwiddie, Aaron Holiday, Levine, THT, DeRozan, Kuzma, AD, Dedmon for GPP. Or is my line with Hero and Lowry better than squeezing in Dinwiddie and Aaron Holiday? Yeah, I like it more with Hero and Lowry. I think that this late news is actually going to lower the ownership of these guys. We got a minute and a half left until Lock Guy's going to try to fire through these questions as fastly as I can. If you guys could drop a like, I would really appreciate it. Let's try to run it up to over 100 likes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button while you're down there as well. Herter or PJ in cash? That's tough for me. That's tough. It's probably PJ for me, but man, that is really close. Really close. Yeah, really close. I'm running Hero, Holiday, THG, AD, Joker, Highland, Tucker, Lowry. I can get behind that. You mind Wade at all? Not really on Dean Wade. I think he's just going to get a lot of ownership, that I just like, man, he has played 30 minutes before and just does not really do anything. And I think that there is like slam dunk value plays now that like you don't need to mess around with Dean Wade. Thoughts on Evan Fournier? Not on Fournier. Caruso over Holiday or Herter. Yeah, if you have the extra money, I'd play Caruso there. Morris, Hayes, Caruso, Dinwiddie, Robinson, THG, Davis, Mobley, Jokic, FanDuel, single entry. Thoughts? Like it. Like that a lot. DKGBP, Caruso, Hero, Herter, Mobley, Deadman, THG, AD, Jokic. Yep, we're on the same track there. Lowry or Cole Anthony? Definitely Lowry for me. Yeah, again, guys, if you could fit in AD with Jokic with the Heat guys, I think that's really sharp. Holiday, Hero, Tucker, AD, Joker, Lowry, Herter, Deadman, DK Cash. Yeah, I think we're all ending up on a very, very similar lineup today, which I think is very nice. Any Max Strus love for GPP plays? Yeah, so Strus has been playing the most minutes off the bench now, and he's going to be, I'm expecting Hero to still be in the starting lineup. So Max Strus is going to be the main ball handler off the bench, and he's got to be near minimum price. Yeah, he is minimum price. And on the off chance that this game blows out, yeah, he's definitely in play at 3,000. Dragic starts with Fred VanVleet out. Is he better played than Caruso? Yes, probably. I'm like really skeptical on Dragic though. So Dragic, I mean, he has been out of the rotation. And then with Fred VanVleet being out, they threw him into the starting lineup. And I was really concerned about his minutes in the first half when I was watching because he didn't have a very good stint. Then they brought in Delano Banton to back him up. And then before bringing Dragic back in, they brought in Malachi Flynn to back up Delano Banton. So he was like the third option. And then in the second half, Dragic played a ton of minutes to try to keep him in that game. So I think they are very willing to just play Banton if he's playing well, because that's what happened in the first half. Banton was playing really well, so Dragic didn't come back in for a long time. So Dragic's minutes are not as secure as you would think. Caruso's minutes, I think, are a lot more secure, even with Kobe White returning. Do you like Jokic on Price Picks? Yeah, I do. It's like at 54, I believe, right now. I still lean the over. Yeah, I still lean the over on Jokic here. Gonna use Miami in 8 p.m. slate. Yep. Miami's going to kill it today. These value plays are just like all of them, really. No Bam and no Jimmy Butler is absolutely massive. And that's NBA DFS for a nutshell for you guys. I mean, just a couple guys get ruled out from one team and the whole landscape of the slate totally shifts. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button. I know I say it over and over and over again, but I'm going to continue to say it over and over and over again. That is the #1 way of supporting me. Appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck tonight. See you guys at the top of the leaderboards. If you guys are part of the in-game showdown group, I'll see you guys later. Let's continue to crush it over there on Prize Picks. But